Hey guys, how are you? I'm Jay, and today we're going to look at the Ganzo Firebird FH21, which really has become a favorite of Ganzo fans. Now, make sure you stick around because I will show you why. Now, this was actually provided to me by John over at Power Cutlery, who really, they are pretty much my go-to retailer for Ganzo knives because they get the new stuff in really fast. So I will include a link to Power Cutlery as well. So thanks guys for making this video possible. You should be looking at some of the specs, but don't worry, I will also include those down in the description so you can follow along as you watch the review. Let's take care of those size comparisons. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And how about the Para 3 from CRKT, the M16. Moving on to Kaiser with the Vanguard Dukes, and then the Beglighter. This one has a similar blade shape. The Skyline from Kershaw, and we'll finish up the comparisons from Benchmade, the Bug Out. Starting at the blade, and in front of us we have a 3.38 inch drop point made from Ganzo's go-to steel, of course, being D2. It is flat ground with a very nice high polish satin finish. 3.5 millimeters is the blade thickness, and the width, so from the spine to the sharpened edge, is going to be 0.87 inches. Now, the FH21 features a sharpening choil with a very well executed plunge grind. Deployment is accomplished with the flipper tab that you see here, and yes, this blade is riding on a ball bearing pivot, and the detent, see, I'm trying to shake it open upside down, and no way am I able to shake that blade loose. So with those two features being so good, the action is just incredible. I mean, it really is, and it does drop shut. Watch this once I get past that detent. Look at that. Hardly any shake. Now you can do, as you just saw, the thumbnail closure, but I gotta warn you, it's not easy to do. You really have to be careful because there's not a whole lot of room once that blade passes the detent ball. But it is possible, unlike the FH31 where there's just, you can't do the thumbnail closure. Just be very careful when you do it with this one. On the inside, they went with, if you can see, yeah, the nested liners, which are locking up at about, let's call that about 15%. And that liner lock, very easy to get at. As you can see, it is a little bit above the show side. And did you also notice it's got like a little kind of a flat spot in there on the liner, and that just helps so you can get your thumb in there, no problem. Now I just want to bring you guys in really close so you can see that centering. Look at that. Yeah, that is just about perfect center. There's two areas of jimping on the FH21, one of which being on the flipper tab and then the other on the spine of the blade, and I have to tell you that that jimping just feels fantastic. It is just perfect. Moving on down to the handle, which is 4.38 inches, which gives this, by the way, just a fantastic blade to handle ratio. That thickness, it is a little over a ½ inch at 0.53, so that is not bad at all. This is going to be G10 is the material for the scales. Now you can see with my medium-sized hand, I can fit all of my fingers on the handle, and there really isn't too much room that's going to be left over. And part of the reason for that is because of the design of the flipper tab. It does push your hand just back a little bit away from the blade, but it's not, I don't think it's too far. So my point is that those of you that have maybe the large size, like bear paw kind of hands, you may find this to be a little on the small side. For the most part, there really are no sharp edges, with just one exception, and really it's really not bad at all, but I do still want to point it out. It's up at the top, if you can see here. But again, you're only going to feel that when when it's closed. When it's open, obviously it's not going to be a problem. The traction is very, very good. Very good, comfortable, very comfortable grip. And a part of the reason for that is because if you I get you guys to sort of stare down the sights. Can you see that? Yeah, it does. The scales have a very slight contour to them. And I absolutely love the groove right behind the flipper. It just makes a very, very confident, comfortable grip. Now in the pocket, Ganzo does give us a very nice deep carry clip that if you look at it this way, you can see, yep, they did go ahead and recess that mounting point into the scale. Now unfortunately, this pocket clip is just one position, and that's going to be tip up only, but it's also just for righties. Yep, no lefty love today. 1.04 inches is that very, very impressive width across. So when it's closed in your pocket, this knife just carries fantastic. I mean, it does literally disappear. You will forget that this is on you. It carries that well. Before I go ahead and toss this up on the scale, I just want to go ahead and show you that really, for the most part, it is open construction, so you don't have to disassemble it each time you need to clean some crud out of there. And that's going to be with it's got a short back spacer, which also houses the lanyard hole as well. And they chose not to include any kind of like skeletonization on the inside in an effort to reduce the weight, but I really don't think it's going to affect this very much. Wow, it sure didn't. 3.3 ounces, which is going to be roughly the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 4 AA batteries, or almost the exact same weight as the Spyderco Para 3. Hey, you looking for knife reviews that get right to the point? Click on subscribe. That's exactly what I do here. And if you enjoyed this video and you got any value from it, how about a thumbs up? Thanks, guys. Before we get to my potential deal breakers, of course, I have a question for you. And really, all I would like to know is, as of today, as of right now, when you're watching this video, what is your absolute favorite Ganzo knife with D2 blade steel? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I will tell you mine. And it's going to be this guy, the FH21, which I have previously reviewed. So at the end of the video, if you go ahead and look up to the corner, yeah, you see that icon there? You can click on it, and you will be able to watch my full review. Now, it doesn't really seem right for me to call this section potential deal breakers because the two issues are so minor. I mean, I really had to dig. And so let's call them nitpicks. So first potential nitpick is going to be that flipper tab and how far, because of its design, it forces your grip to the back. It kind of forces your hand kind of back towards the pummel end of the knife. Again, not a big deal. And lastly will be the fact that there is no left-handed carry option with the clip. I mean, it looks like they've been doing it. Yep, FH31. You can swap the clip. Let's see. Yep, the FH13. You can swap the clip. They chose not to give us that option here for some reason. So where does that leave us here with the Ganzo FH21? You can find this for $23.99 over at Power Cutlery. They also have it with either the gray or black G10 scales. And I don't know if I mentioned it already, but Power Cutlery, they have become my kind of go-to dealer for Ganzo Firebird knives for two reasons. Okay, their shipping is crazy fast, and when Ganzo releases a new knife, they're one of the first retailers to get them in stock. They carry a lot of other brands, not just Ganzo Firebird. So go check them out. Their link will be down below. This FH21 is just a great, no, you know what? Check that. It's a fantastic gentleman's folder, because that's what I'm going to go ahead and classify this as. It makes just the perfect office carry.